Dear friends, first of all, I would like to congratulate the alumni of Annamalai University Engineering and Technology wing of the university. I think it is for the first time I am attending this kind of a meeting, and I feel that we are missing, and I am looking at the joy in the face of so many of you. Probably you people are meeting quite regularly. I think even my own alumni creates this kind of an opportunity. I think I will try to talk to some of my colleagues back home in Andhra Pradesh. So having said that, I would like to thank Mr. Mahesh. I think the contact between your alumni association and myself is Mr. Mahesh. I could meet him in the context of an alert system for disaster management, which I think IBM has come out with. So in that context, Mr. Mahesh knew my interest and passion for agriculture, and particularly he was fascinated with one of the inventions that I made to grow trees much faster with less water. So in that context only, he asked me to make a presentation. Initially, I thought I will talk about how to have agriculture practices without relying on chemical pesticides. But today's lecture, I felt I should confine myself to this root zone irrigation technique. We are calling it as water conserving root zone irrigation techniques. Can I have the presentation? Can you just please play?
Under the MGNREG scheme, a large number of saplings were planted and tended by following the innovative watering technique suggested by Dr. K. Sathya Gopal, IAS. From the pictures, it can be seen that the saplings planted as per the new method grew much better and taller than the seedlings planted as per the conventional methods. He has now brought some important changes to the watering technique to suit the requirement of fruit-bearing trees. In the 2 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet pit dug for planting the sapling, an additional hole of 1 foot depth is drilled using an auger. Depending on the type of the soil, if required, more holes may be drilled in the corners. If an auger is not available, a crowbar can be used for making the hole or holes. The hole is filled with 1 or 2 handfuls of sieved vermicompost or organic manure, and then with river sand. Later, 4 PVC pipes with 4-inch diameter may be placed above the holes and in the pit, as shown in the picture. Sieved vermicompost or organic manure is mixed with the dugout soil, and 3/4 of the pit must be filled. Then a small pit must be made as shown. The pit is filled with 2 handfuls of unsieved vermicompost or organic manure, and the saplings is planted. The pit must then be fully covered with the dugout soil. Now, 2 handfuls of sieved vermicompost or organic manure must be poured into the PVC pipes, which must then be filled with river sand or any other water-absorbent material. Then, all the 4 PVC pipes must be carefully removed and the sapling watered. The water percolates down and keeps the root zone always moist.
See, what are the advantages of this particular method? It is very low cost and it requires only the materials that are locally available. The river sand and then the PVC pipes which can be reused. Then it ensures the water can be taken up to 2 feet depth, and if we want we can even take up to 3 feet depth, especially for horticulture tree crops which may require more water. That is the reason why in the first video we have shown that you can use either an auger or a crowbar so that you can have another 1 foot depth pit, 1 or 2 depending upon the species that are being planted. Here the requirement of water will be much less than the conventional method. In fact, in the second video you can see that farmer himself was mentioning when compared with even with drip irrigation, the water requirement is very much less. Then the cost of watering will be reduced. When you are looking at the cost of cultivation, whether it is in the governmental program or in the fields of the farmers, the cost of cultivation will come down, particularly with reference to the requirement of watering. And then the survival rate, particularly when we looked at the tree planting programs, the survival rate is much higher. In fact, in some districts, they have reported even 100% survival, whereas conventionally, at least in the range of 20 to 30% mortality will be there, and every second year they will try to replace the seedlings that have failed to grow. What is most interesting was, we noticed that the growth is much faster than the conventional method. Next slide. Okay. Now the other thing is, initially I thought I can do away with drip irrigation. Initially I thought this system can be used to replace drip irrigation system. In fact, some of my senior colleagues, they have suggested that in some cases where farmers may be having large extents of land and where there could be a problem of manual labor, this can complement it. In fact, what the farmer can do is, he can take a pit as he does normally, plant the tree following the method suggested by me, and then he can put the drippers from the drip irrigation system on top of the sand columns that are going to be formed. It could be 2, it could be 4, depending upon the requirement. And once we do this, whatever water is being released from the dripper, it goes directly up to 2 feet or 3 feet, depending upon the column length of the sand columns that have been created. Then, as I said, it can go up to even 3 feet. And one of the biggest advantage in this is, we can prevent evaporation losses. In fact, many a time when I was visiting the farmers' fields, even in drip irrigation system, I used to see that entire saucer is full of water. And the farmer continuously keeps on watering for about 3 to 4 hours in a day. And because of this particular method, not only taking the water up to 2 feet, since that entire root zone has already been provided with nutrients, both moisture and nutrients will be available for the plant to pick it up. Whereas even in drip irrigation systems, the maximum depth to which the water can percolate, if a reasonable amount of quantities are used, will be only about half a foot. Here you can straight away, whatever little quantity you pour, you can take it up to 2 to 3 feet. I will just show you some of the pictures of different varieties of species. Fruit bearing trees, the month is about the age is about 7 months. Here in lemon, the difference is about 85 centimeters. All other parameters being equal, the same quantum of nutrients are added while planting. The only difference is, we have created these sand columns while planting in the picture on the right side, whereas the conventional method, you don't have the sand columns. In jack tree, we have found that the difference is about 58 centimeters. That is almost about 2 feet. In badam, besides the huge growth in the biomass, the height also difference is about 54 centimeters. In sapota, it's about 49 centimeters. In mango, within a short period, it's about 33 centimeters. And you can see the biomass also being more. Then, we could also see that in pomegranate, though the difference in height is relatively much less, but if you look at the biomass, it is quite huge, and even flowering has also started much earlier. And in mulberry, even we tried this in mulberry, what many people they don't understand is, mulberry is not only used for sericulture purposes, it can also be used as a fodder tree. There is one variety of mulberry which can be grown as a tree, but it requires initially watering for about 1 year, and once it establishes a tree, it is a perennial tree, it can be there for about 30 to 40 years. And if a sericulture farmer has 2 trees before his house and 2 trees behind in the backyard, he will not be requiring any further cultivation. To that extent, the leaf yield will be there. If a livestock farmer wants to make use of this mulberry leaf, it is noted that the skin texture itself will become very good for the animal, and the milk quality will improve and quantity also will increase. Several studies have shown that. The leaf of the mulberry also we try to have a look at it, and in the method suggested by me, 1 centimeter width is much more than the conventional method, besides the color of the leaf being very dark green when compared with the normal method. Now let us have a look at the fruit-bearing trees. The age is about 11 months. In Naval, that is Jamun, the difference is 215 centimeters. And one more location, the difference was about 185 centimeters. In Kodikapulli, the difference is about 145 centimeters. And in Goa, it's about 140 centimeters. And in another plant, it's about 130 centimeters. And tamarind is generally considered to be very slow-growing is very slow-growing species. Here also we found about 80 centimeter difference. And when we looked at the oil seeds, especially neem, the difference is about 122 centimeters. In silk cotton, Ilam Panji, it's about 120 centimeters. And in Pungam, it's about 200 centimeters. And both Pungam and neem are grown quite widely in Tamil Nadu and most of the southern districts, especially for oilseed purposes. Timber species. In mahogany, the difference is 272 centimeters. In another location, it's about 225 centimeters. Teak, it's about 250 centimeters. And in fact, they have informed me that the girth of the teak normally grown was about 12 centimeters. And in the same period, the girth of the seedling which was grown adopting this new method is 24 centimeters. Virtually, it is double. It is not only the height, it's not only the biomass, but also the girth of the tree seedling is becoming almost double the normal size. Poovers is another variety. There we found it's about 60 centimeters difference. Medicinal species, it's about 10 months to 1 year. Vanga is one thing, it is 130 centimeters of the difference which we have noticed. In Neer Martha, it's about 240 centimeters. And in flowering trees, Spathodia, it's about 50 centimeters within 3 months. And then in Condrai, it's about 95 centimeters. Mayflower, that is 72 centimeters. And one more species in Madurai district, the difference is about 100 centimeters. And one more location in Coimbatore, the Mayflower difference is about 90 centimeters. In addition to this, actually all of you are aware, because of the scanty rainfall which is received in 2016, Tamil Nadu faced the worst ever drought in its history, recorded history. Many people think it is only about 140 years, after 140 years we had drought. Actually in 1876, the northeast monsoon deficit was 63. In 2016, it is 62%. But in 1876, during southwest monsoon, the deficit was only 8%, whereas in 2016, it is 20%. So if you take the entire year figure, the deficit rainfall was much, much higher in any year which has been recorded so far in Tamil Nadu. So this has resulted in a situation where large number of coconut trees, they started wilting, especially in Tirupur and Coimbatore and other belts, Dindigal and all. So then what we have suggested is, the same method which we have followed while planting a new seedling, you can make a small modification, and then what we can do is, around the main stem, the trunk of the tree, at a radius about 1 to 1.5 feet, we can drill about 5 or 4 holes using an auger. No doubt the roots will be cut a bit. That is not going to harm the tree as such. And you can go up to 2 to 3 feet holes. Here you don't need to put PVC pipe. They did not understand what I said. The PVC pipe basically when you're using in a new plantation is to provide a structure, solidity for the sand column to be created. Whereas here, since the hole will also already be quite firm, you don't need to again put up a PVC pipe. Directly one can apply the vermicompost for about half a foot, and then the remaining column can be filled up with river sand. By doing this, in Tirupur, nearly 8,500 farmers, they have benefited. They could protect their trees. And what is the benefit they have, according to their own feedback, it resulted in reduced premature button shedding. The plants looked greenish even during the drought periods. And 30 to 40% water requirement has been saved. And this is found to be very suitable, especially in areas where there is a shortage of water. So this, in fact, a couple of news items or newspapers also, they have covered the article. And then Government of Tamil Nadu has given me a certificate of appreciation in August 2017. So this is in This is in brief about this technique. This can be used for tree species. This can be used for all climbers. It could be used for pepper. It can be used for all gouts. It can also be for the beans. Wherever pandal is being used, this can be tried. So with this, I would like to thank Mr. Magesh and all other the members of the Alumni Association, the core team, which has given me this opportunity. If you have any questions, I would like to respond. Please. Thank you so much.
Sir.
I think it matters, right? Water quality. Our area, I know it's a saline water. So how do we address this? In many places, I think it is the case, right?
You see, this technology is primarily to take the normal water used for irrigation to lower levels to the root zone of the plant. And when you are taking that, since the nutrients are also being applied, the plant will take advantage of all these things. As far as salinity issues are concerned, we need to go for more subsurface dikes in your district. In fact, your collector, Mr. Nirmal Raj, is taking forward the work done by former collector, Mr. Natarajan, who himself is a geologist. So they are putting a series of subsurface dikes which will impound the water underneath the surface of the riverbed. And that will flush the fresh water and push the incursion of saline waters into the agriculture fields. And government of Tamil Nadu is also now trying to come out with some construction of bed dams, check dams, and then also tail-end water regulators. These shutters are being created where it will be opened to allow the flow of the sea during the high tide. And at the same time, during rainy season, you will try to impound the water for a longer periods so that the fresh water will push the ingressing sea water. Okay? Right.
Sir, I have one.
Please. Yeah.
Sir, I think in your slides, instead of putting absolute numbers, if you can put percentage, it will be more dramatic. The growth, instead of in centimeters, if you put in percentage, it will be more dramatic because the height in terms of centimeters, it will be much more dramatic.
Centimeters itself will be quite dramatic because if you convert it into
as engineers, you have to calculate. I mean, whereas in percentage, everybody will understand much easier.
Okay. I think easily we can easily do that.
Yeah.
In fact, if you look at the slides, the growth difference range anywhere from 1.5 foot to nearly 8 feet. So nearly 8 feet means, and most of these seedlings will be only about 1 to 2 feet at the time of growing.
Yeah.
So it will be about 300 to 400% more.
Which will look very dramatic in the presentation.
Yes. Thank you for the suggestion. I will try to adopt that.
The second thing is, what is the typical root depth? You said 3 feet. I mean, 3 feet is the maximum. But in a fully grown tree, what will be the maximum depth the root goes?
Yes. It goes very deep.
So how does it help?
If you look at the height, almost similar to that, you will have the root growing down, except in trees like palms.
Okay.
There, why we stopped at 3 feet itself is, the roots will find its way to get the water.
Okay.
So normally nature itself will take care of the rest of the job.
After it goes beyond 3 feet.
Okay. Until such time, and once you are creating the sand column, that will be there for a long time. The chances of it being obliterated will be very less. Even if it is done, again you can use the one more auger and then create additional drills, create a hole and fill it up with a river sand. And one more thing is, river sand need not necessarily be applied. Any water absorbing material, there are certain, in fact, the Indian Institute of Agriculture Research, they have come out with a chemical which is the water absorbing thing. If you don't get anything, we can also use dried cow dung or even rice husk. Anything can be used. But river sand, nothing to beat it. Because if you look at any rainwater harvesting technique, it is a river sand that is applied on the top.
Thank you. Dr. Sathya Gopal has agreed to conduct a one-day workshop
for the modern farming. And I think this we will have it in Madurai with the support of Mr. Rajagopal. He will be the host. And our leading farmers like Annamalai, who also got the Chief Minister's Award. Please stand up. In Karaikudi, he is doing in 50 acres land. This workshop will be there in 2018. And most of the NRIs who are coming back, they want to enter the farming. And also all the retired people, they are very comfortable with the farming than industries. I think we will encourage that by conducting this workshop in Madurai with the support of Mr. Rajagopal. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request Mr. N. Pashupati Prasad, item from Singapore, to please come on to the dais and honor Mr. Sathya Gopal.